Former Boston Celtic Chris Herren speaks to Bay Path Technical High School about his story with addiction and the dangers of it, and hopes students don't make the same mistakes that he did. Our Roslyn Flaherty joins us live now with more. Roslyn?
Olivia, Chris Herren struggled with heroin for many years and says he almost lost everything because of it. He's been speaking to students for 7 years now and says he's now trying to focus his story on students rather than himself. Chris Herren grabs the attention of students at Bay Path Technical High School Monday.
Prevention has been my focus.
The former Boston Celtic struggled with substance abuse for much of his career. He says he was using heroin for 8 years.
Kind of lost everything because of it.
Herren travels across the country sharing his story and warning about the dangers of addiction. In the last 7 years, he says he's been to 95% of schools in Massachusetts.
It's important to ask why. I think it's important to challenge our kids to be better on Fridays and Saturdays. You know, to work through insecurities and empower and build self-esteem.
The notoriety of his name, I think, registers with the student body and allows that, you know, the ears to open and the eyes to open a little bit wider, and to let the material and the content, which is really what it's all about, to sink in.
Chris was 32 when he had overdosed for the 4th time. He says the counselor told him he should walk away from his family.
I should play dead and let them live. As a father, I was no good to them, and I will forever be a burden in their life. And I've been sober since.
Herren has been sober for 9 years and wants to make sure kids don't make the same mistakes he did.
The reality is, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, the stigma is so strong, and I think that's because we put so much focus and emphasis on the worst day of addiction and not the first day.
He says the opioid crisis has passed the point of a crisis and says most people who are struggling didn't intend to abuse drugs.
And that's the scariest part about addiction and being a kid, is that nobody really knows who has that gene. Nobody knows who has that card in their back pocket, that they're the ones that are going to struggle. You know, kids walk out into the woods to drink a couple of beers and have no idea what's coming.
Now, Herren says it's important to talk to the youth to keep them aware of stresses and peer pressure that can lead to a destructive lifestyle. Olivia?